the age of music streaming, one thing has been kinda lost recently, and that is the presence of the music player. Whether it plays cassettes, CDs, or MP3s, there's no denying that the dedicated music player has almost entirely fallen out of relevancy. Until now. This is the HiBy Digital M500 Cross Hatsune Miku music player. This device is an Android-based high-fidelity music player themed around none other than Hatsune Miku. If you click this video, you probably already know who Hatsune Miku is, but considering I only discovered Miku and other virtual singer personalities relatively recently, I'll give a quick overview before we get into the unboxing and tech specs.
Hello everyone, I'm Scott, president of Domino's Pizza. Have you heard of Hatsune Miku?
Voiced by Saki Fujita, Hatsune Miku is a voice bank in the Vocaloid line of software from Krypton Future Media Incorporated. Vocaloid is a type of virtual singer software for generating vocals for use within your own music tracks, with Hatsune Miku being, arguably, the most well-known voice from the program. Her popularity has skyrocketed outside of her homeland of Japan to the point of having fully choreographed concerts featuring songs made using her voice bank. These concerts, whether they're 100% Miku-centric or at events that feature multiple artists like Coachella, Miku herself will be on stage in all her digital glory with a specialized display setup. If you're curious, this is what Miku sounds like. But enough about Miku for now. We'll see plenty more about her later. Let's get into the unboxing. I pre-ordered the M500 4G version in a bundle with the Yume IEMs, so there's quite a lot of items to go through, including some bonuses, like this Miku badge, and this fancy leather case. My order also came with a bonus microSD card. This isn't listed on the site, so I believe this is actually a thank you for your patience gift. There were some delays in shipping, so they weren't able to get it out until almost 2 months extra. Another bonus is this awesome Miku standee that I unfortunately scratched a bit on the base. Again, I don't see this listed on the site, so I'm assuming this is a bonus. Moving on, we have the Yume IEMs. According to the HiBy site, these IEMs were designed specifically for the HiBy Cross Miku collaboration, and feature customized tuning for J-pop and ACG fans. ACG meaning animation, comics, and games for those who are unaware. They've included a nice graphic here showing off the frequency range of the monitors. I'm not an audiophile by any means, but spoiler alert, I think the IEMs sound really good. Next up, we have the IEM case. It feels like some type of leather-colored Miku blue with pink stitches. The latch here is magnetic, as well as the bigger lip of the case too. We have in the case the 4.4mm jack, a cleaning brush, and the cable for the IEMs. The monitors connect using this 2-pin connector. We'll see more of that in a moment, but for now, onto the ear tips. The IEMs come with sizing options in both silicone and foam styles, so you should be able to find a comfortable fit no matter your preference. We have our quality control certificate, as well as a manual with instructions on connecting the monitors to the cable, how to properly wear them, and so on. And finally, we have the monitors themselves. Blue, pink, and black with Hatsune Miku 01 and the HiBy logo engraved onto it. Oh, and right here is the 2-pin connection port. The build quality of these is phenomenal. There's a little bit of weight to them compared to my current daily driver, the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro. I've done a video on those in the past, so feel free to check that out if you're more interested in some wireless earphones. But we're here for Miku today, not Samsung. Let's go ahead and pop some ear tips on these and get them connected to the cable. Connecting the IEMs is pretty simple. Just match the right and left cables with the right and left monitors and plug them in. You can see that the cables have this intentional curve around the connection point. The cable kind of floats above my ears, so I can't really say it's like this for extra support. The design of these IEMs is pretty low profile while also looking sleek. You probably wouldn't even know they were Hatsune Miku themed. With the IEMs totally unboxed, let's move into the device that'll make them actually useful, the M500. The packaging on this is honestly really nice. This artwork on the front of the box was created specifically for this collaboration. If you look closely, you can even see she's using the M500 and the Yume IMs. Continuing on, we're greeted with the audio player as soon as we open the box. We'll save it for last and look at the other accessories first. We've got a manual, a screen protector, and the all-important quality control certificate in this little sleeve. The manual gives an overview of all the different ports, knobs, and buttons that the M500 is equipped with, as well as some details about the operating system. It runs a slightly modified version of Android 14 out of the box, so we'll go into more detail with that once we get this thing powered on. Moving on, we have a clear silicone case for the player as well. As a reminder, the leather case was a bonus for purchasing the 4G capable version. This clear case comes standard with all versions of the M500. Next up, we have a Miku themed braided Type-C cable, and a Miku themed rope that can attach to the case. And the final accessory before we move on to the device is this little acrylic tag featuring the Miku design used in the M500's promotional art. Now to focus on the M500. We'll start off with the back of the device. We have this large IMEI tag, which is kinda lame for this unboxing, but whatever. A stylized version of the promotional art, complete with unique background, the Hatsune Miku logo, and some labels for the different ports of the device. The M500 also has a camera and a flashlight. We'll talk more about camera specs in depth when we get there. Looking at the bottom, we have the audio jacks, mic, Type-C, and speaker. Seeing analog audio inputs is almost strange in a world where wireless headphones dominate the market. We have a slot for both a SIM and microSD card, with the SIM slot only being available on the 4G version, I'm assuming. Very necessary additions for a device like this. Next up, we'll do a little sound test for the volume knobs and buttons on the side of the device. Take a listen. Now for the screen protector peel off. Now let's power on the M500. Because it's reflecting. I was not expecting that, okay. And the M500 has a special Hatsune Miku voice pack. You'll hear Miku talk and respond when you do various things on the device, like booting it up, connecting or disconnecting the headphones, plugging the device in, or even turning the volume up too loud. As mentioned before, the M500 uses a slightly modified version of Android 14 titled HiBy OS. The OS itself isn't really anything special. As far as I can tell, it has a few extra settings you wouldn't find on most phones, like an option to flip the screen vertically, and a tab in the settings detailing the DAC. Speaking of settings, here we have the device specs. Again, nothing too special. We have a Snapdragon 680 CPU, a Cirrus Logic DAC, 4GB of RAM, 64GB of expandable storage, a 720p screen, and a 3100 mAh battery. The M500 supports Bluetooth connections as well, though you may be missing out on some of the main selling points of the device using Bluetooth speakers or headphones. Oh, and there's a little Miku graphic here at the bottom of the settings screen. How cool. Next up is sound. You can customize the speaking language of the various Miku soundbites, with options for English, Japanese, and Chinese. Plus, the level indicator on volume bars is Miku's leak instead of a little circle. It's a neat little touch that adds a lot of extra character to the overall user experience. Other than that, nothing too special for the sounds menu. No unique ringtones or sounds are included as far as I can tell. What is special is the audio menu. The M500 has a unique audio settings tab that allows you to change the digital filter and output power mode. Here's a graphic that shows the details on each of these filter modes. The default setting is fast roll-off low latency. As for the output power mode, to my understanding, it affects the maximum volume the device can output, which, spoiler alert, is very loud. My Galaxy Z Flip 6 warns me about loud listening whenever going over a volume of 100, with 150 being the maximum. The M500 warns at only 40%. This thing can get loud, and keep the audio clear. That being said, be careful with that. I've definitely gotten jump scared once or twice by the sheer volume this thing has. Moving on from the audio, we have a few included apps to take a look at. First up, we have the HiBy Music app. This is HiBy's custom music player. It labels files based on their audio quality and supports streaming via Tidal. This app has a lot of different bonus features too. Multiband EQ, parametric EQ, plugin support, theme support. Honestly, pretty nice for a pack-in app. I have a bit more to say about it later on in the video. We have the CX File Explorer. Nothing too special here, though it does support FTP connections if you wanted to use one. The pre-installed browser is the Via browser. Of course, we have the Google Play Store as well. We have what I believe is the AOSP clock, calendar, voice memo, and file explorer. There's also an FM radio app, but you'll need an antenna, your IAMs, to be plugged in for it to work properly to my understanding. Next up, we'll take a look at the camera. The M500 has a it'll get the job done kind of camera. 13 megapixels and a light for flash. On screen now is a side-by-side of two videos I've taken using the M500 with my Galaxy Z Flip 6's camera for comparison. Here's a couple of pictures too to show off the photography side of things as well. It's nice to have on the device just in case you needed it in the moment, but not great for any high quality photos or videos. Don't expect anything to rival the current flagships. So with all that being said, what do I actually think of the M500 and the Yume IMs? As I mentioned earlier, my previous daily driver was the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro. Out of the gate, it's a bit different having to work around wired earphones again after using wireless for so long. Is it worth it for the audio quality though? I think so. I feel like I've recently been able to appreciate the sheer amount of quality these things offer. It's even crazier to hear some of my own tracks with such high clarity. And the battery life? For my use case, it is amazing. With any Android, battery life will depend on what apps you use, but I've went multiple days on a single charge. There's a setting on the device to automatically power down if left idle for a certain amount of time, though this hasn't worked perfectly for me because some of the apps I use will just wake the system and reset the idle timer. If you keep everything stock or configure background usage, this will likely work a lot better. I just haven't gotten around to doing that yet. Carrying around the M500 is honestly pretty great. It doesn't feel like it weighs too much and fits pretty well in my hands, which is great considering all the physical buttons the M500 has. And of course, the sounds the buttons and knobs make are wonderful. I could sit and mess with them for hours. Having that kind of audible and tactile response for things other than just locking the device and changing the volume is awesome. Plus, the function switch can be bound to disabling the physical buttons. I have found myself accidentally pressing them rather often. Whether that's a problem with the design itself or just me not exactly being used to it yet is up in the air. So carrying the M500 is alright, but carrying the IEMs is a little bit of a hassle solely due to the shape of their case. It doesn't fit well in my pockets, which just makes it more of a challenge to carry around outside of the house. I either have to leave the case inside or in my car, depending on where I am, and then I'm locked into wearing the IEMs until I'm back to the case, or I just have to give in and stuff them in my pocket. Not exactly ideal considering the price of them. Now maybe I'm just a bit outside of the target audience for the IEMs, because if you carry around a backpack or purse, this probably isn't an issue. I carry neither of those things, so I'm stuck with this cuboid case that I need either really deep pockets for, which still would be a bit annoying, or I just have to leave the case behind. Speaking of the IEMs themselves though, I don't exactly like the way the cables loop around the ears. The loop is just barely too big for my ears. When I fit the buds perfectly, the cables still float a bit above my ears. I'm not sure how exactly the cables are supposed to lay, but this honestly just doesn't do it for me. I think I'd honestly prefer a direct line to my ears, kinda like Miku has in the promo art. But don't get the wrong idea, I do genuinely love the design of the IEMs. Having the option to swap the cable out entirely can solve the aforementioned loop issue, albeit this is not an ideal solution. The plug is actually pointed upwards to adjust for that loop. And you can swap out the jack for other connection types too, like the 3.5mm aux or USB Type-C if you wanted to use them on a different port or even device. As far as I can tell, you could use these on any device provided you have the right adapter. They aren't locked down to being used solely on the M500. I do have some wishes for features for the M500 as well. One of their prior models allowed for LED color customization, but the M500 does not have that as far as I can tell. Yes, I know it's probably locked that way because of the Miku theming, but the blue light just isn't for me. It's pretty freaking bright, especially for someone like me who already doesn't handle blue lights very well. You can turn the light off entirely, but that's lame, and it takes a lot of fun out of the M500's design. Another thing would be changing the volume screen. As we saw earlier in the video, adjusting the volume has this full screen display effect. I'm not really a fan of this. I know it's like that so you can see the volume clearly if you just pull the device out to adjust the volume, but if I'm scrolling through my library and I want to adjust the volume up just 1 or 2 points, well, good luck with that because now my entire screen is covered by an overlay. It kind of interrupts the flow of actively using the device at times, so I wish there was a way to maybe only have it display when the screen isn't immediately being used. Speaking of software, some of the built-in apps will just crash. Granted, am I going to be using many of these pre-installed apps? Probably not, but it isn't a great out-of-the-box experience for the software. Except for the HiBy Music app. That one I do like. Non-standard quality audio files will get labels based on the bitrate/sample rate. To my understanding, anything rendered at a bit depth of 16 bits will be labeled SQ for standard quality, and bit depths of 24 bits will get labeled HR for high resolution. The app has a lot of other bells and whistles, like a parametric EQ, multi-band EQ, and the option to install extra plugins for even more features. You can also log into Tidal or Qobuz if you use either of those as streaming services. I personally don't, so I can't speak on how well it works, but for those who do, you have this as an extra option. HiBy Music seems like a pretty solid app overall. Of course, there's nothing stopping you from installing any other music player too, like, for example, I use YouTube Music as well. So yeah guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and make sure you check out Journalway's channel down in the description below. It will also be on screen. He was a huge help to this channel, and I greatly appreciate all the work that he has done for this. So please go give him all your support. He is making a game, it's called Angels and Demons, it is great. But yeah, that's gonna have to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's not like what I normally make, but it took quite a lot of work to do. I've got a new song that's coming out alongside this video. It's called So Hard. The link to it will be down in the description below. And just make sure you guys check out any of the links down below as well. I will also be linking the earbuds and M500 in the description.